opening shot can either make or break your entire game, quite literally. So you've been serious about pool for a little while and you want to elevate your game and you want to get a break cue, but you don't want to break the bank. I think I've got a solution for you. Today I'm going to be reviewing and testing the Raven break cue. Yes, you're not going to spend a ton of money buying it, but it's also going to outperform most of the high-end cues. Let's get into a little review. First impressions of this break cue. This thing is sexy. Whoa, Josh, you can't be talking about sex. This is a family channel. So my Raven break cue is 19 ounce with a 13 millimeter tip. Now the stick is available all the way up to 22 ounces and it comes standard with a phenolic tip, but you can change the tip from the factory before you get it. I use a more controlled break rather than a smash break, so I wanted a leather tip. And I went with the Tiger break tip. As with all Raven cues, this one comes standard with a carbon fiber shaft. The break sticks are extremely durable and they feel phenomenal in the hand. Personally, I'm not a big technical guy, so what I go on mostly is feel and how it performs. And honestly, I want a break stick that feels like a playing cue, and this one fits that bill. In fact, I could very easily run a rack with this particular cue.
You sure about that?
It feels that much like a playing cue. Today we're going to test this break cue, but we're also going to compare it to two other budget-friendly break cues. So today we've got a Raven break cue, but we also have a Purex break cue, which retails about $400, maybe a little less. And then we also have a Rage break cue, which is a real heavy break cue that retails for under $200. It's about 130 or 150 bucks, somewhere in there. This Raven break cue is under 300 bucks. It retails for $299. Is the performance really worth the additional money? That's what we're gonna find out today. Let's get into it. All right, first thing I'm gonna test is a power break. We're gonna start off with the Rage break cue, which retails for under 150 bucks. So before I break, I noticed this cue is very much not in balance. It's very heavy on the back end. Because it's such a heavy cue, this cue is 22.9 ounces. And because it's so heavy, the weight bolt in the back puts this thing off balance like crazy. Let's hit a break with it and see what it does. So the Rage cue seems to break the balls very well. Only thing is, because it's so heavy and off balance, I have a hard time getting control over the cue ball. Let's try the Purex. All right guys, before I hit a break shot with this Purex, there's one thing I'm noticing about it, and I don't know if you can hear it on video or not, but listen to this. It's not very tight. There's some rattle in the cue. I did go through and the weight bolt was a little loose, but once I do this a few more times, it started rattling again. So I think that weight bolt comes loose pretty habitually. Maybe if you put some Loctite on the threads or something might help, but let's hit a power break with it and see how it does. This cue doesn't hit them too bad, to be honest with you. I don't like the way it feels necessarily. It's got a taper down here at the bottom, but it throws the balance off and it feels, I almost want to say it feels like a toy when I'm using it. But I did get a fairly good result on it. Let's try the next one. All right guys, now for the Raven cue. Keep in mind I don't have a phenolic tip on this one because I use more of a controlled break personally. So this one may react a little bit different with a power break, but let's check it out and see what it does. The balance on this one's phenomenal. It feels like a playing cue. I love the taper. Plus it looks pretty sweet. Let's see how it performs. Well, I'd say I definitely got some power out of that thing, man. That cue ball went up in the air maybe 3 or 4 feet. All right, guys, we're going to do the same thing, only this time we're going to try more of a controlled break. First up is the Rage cue. Remember, this one retails for under 150 bucks. All right, now we're going to try the Purex. This one retails for about $370-ish. Feel like it comes loose on me, but it's just the rattle and the weight bolt. Just for fun, let's see if we can run out with it. Well, can't win them all. This wouldn't be a very good review video if I didn't break some 8-ball as well. So we're gonna do the same thing in 8-ball. We're gonna use all 3 cues. We're gonna start with a second ball break, and then we're gonna do a head ball smash break and see how they react. All right, here's a rage cue, second ball break. Pure X, second ball break. The Raven cue. All right, straight on break. This is the rage cue. This is the Pure X. And this is the Raven. All in all, guys, I love this Raven cue. I've actually had it for a couple months now, but Raven asked me not to put out a review video on it just yet because they were selling out of them so fast. They wanted stock before I put out the video. So obviously, a lot of people like this cue because they are selling them like crazy, and I'm no exception to that. If I had any downsides to this cue, it would be the fact that you can't get it with a wrap. They are all wrapless. There are no wraps available on their website. So if you're the kind of guy that has to have a wrap, this cue may not be for you. Now, the other 2 cues I tested, the Rage cue, surprisingly outperformed my expectations. For 150 bucks, that cue hits pretty good. The downside to that cue is it's heavy and bulky. It's not weighted correctly. It's off balance. So the control doesn't feel good. The stick doesn't feel good. To me, what a break cue comes down to is how it feels. Ultimately, your break is going to be as good as your stroke. You're not going to be able to break better than you can stroke your break shot, if that makes sense. So the cue that you want is one that feels good in your hands and gives you confidence in that break stroke. And this Raven cue meets and exceeds all those expectations. So for under 300 bucks, you can get a break cue that's going to be comparable in feel and hit to a $750 Q-Tech Breach. I highly recommend this cue. And Raven has actually given me a discount code to offer you guys 10% off. So if you shop raven.com, not just the break cues, but jump cues, playing cues, anything you want to get in there, they're all carbon fiber. You can get 10% off using discount code Josh. Leave a comment, let me know what break stick you use. And if you've tried a Raven before or you own one, let me know what you think about it in the comments, guys. Bye for now. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.